It's Sunday, time for Steve's Place. I'd like to welcome you all here. And this this week we have a really good presentation on PFAS and uh, NBOTs, which is a way of eradicating them. But before that, I'd like to get into our upcoming conference, which is going to be in Albuquerque. We're planning to have it August 12th to 16th. Uh, Although that is subject to change, but that's our goal. And I'm trying to keep it so that we have uh, about the same cost as last year is what our target is. And meantime, we have if you click on the this logo here on our website, it'll take you to our sales page for this year's live stream, which is now video on demand, and you'll be able to order all the videos from this year's conference. But even better, if you're looking for a gift suggestion, we can now send it to people as a gift, and we'll be putting out an email telling you how to do that. We encourage everyone to maybe consider giving the gift of knowledge this year, and once you'll be able to uh, send out the 2024 conference or the 2025 conference such as a gift, online there. So that's one of the things we're trying to get. In the meantime, I'd like to encourage people to go up to our YouTube channel. We have over 1,500 videos online there. And if you go online to testdetect.info, and what you come up against will be a yellow box, in the corner there. And on it, you can see it has the Test Detect channel, the conference directory, and the speaker directory. And the conference directory, when you open that up, it'll have all the conferences that we have up there listed, and you just click on it and take you to that specific conference. And for a lot of them, we have the programs up there as well, so you might want to check it out. Also, we have a speaker directory. If you know who you want to see, check out the speaker directory. We're adding more and more speakers up there all the time. It takes time for us to go through there and find these playlists and update our list. But that's one of our projects we're working on. And then if you just want to go up to the channel, just click on the Test Detect channel and it'll bring you up. We ask that everyone at least become a subscriber. It's free to be a subscriber. And that gives you access, to hundreds of DVDs. Okay. And I mean, these DVDs come from about 1989 to now. So you got about, 30, 40 years there of conferences, that you can check out. A lot of these people are no longer with us. And so this material is highly original and unavailable anywhere else, And so I think with that, I pretty much cover everything. Once again, I want to remind you, oh yeah, we want you to also become a member. Become a member of Test Detect YouTube channel. It's $9.99 a month. We have over 1,500 videos up there. Access is 24/7. Anywhere in the world that you can get YouTube, you can watch the videos and everything. So it's great, instead of having to have a bunch of DVDs sitting on shelves, you can just become a member and have access to everything. I'm putting some more up there. I'm putting the 2024s up there for memberships, about 2 or 3 a week, I get up there. And so it's just starting to build up, So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Bevan. Welcome, Bevan sits to our show. There, Bevan. And do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Steve. Welcome to your guests. My name's Bevan. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm an industrial designer and here talking about NBOT, nanobubble oxidation technology, which is a new technology to destroy PFAS, the forever chemical, which can now be considered temporary. So yeah, and then we're happy to, something many people have never heard of, PFAS, but even though they most likely have it in their bodies as we speak, seems to be pervasive throughout the world. So it's good news if we can just simply start talking about how to wipe it out, case by case basis. So happy to address that issue whenever folks are interested to talk about. Now we do have the book I wrote. You might call it a kind of a elaborated PowerPoint, but this is part of my background, is developing communications representing science and technology for museums, corporations, and universities since the early 90s. So this is kind of a new example of that. Our company's Carbon Intel here in Madison, and we focus on one hand on NBOT PFAS destruction, but we also come from the hemp industry, where hemp and other plants have been proven to pull PFAS and other contaminants such as phosphorus out of the soil. So we're really trying to be a solution provider for these problems that engineers are often overwhelmed with these days. So it's a good opportunity to bring alternative technologies to the market. So that's one aspect of Carbon Intel. The other is biochar, and that's a whole other opportunity to talk about emerging science, economic, environmental trends. So that's what I'd like to talk about.
Okay, I put the your book up on the screen there on the graphic
Yeah.
analysis.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So you want me to talk about that?
yeah, just go ahead and just start there. That's a good place to start.
Okay. So NBOT is coming to market now, and we're literally in the business of looking to close some deals with municipalities throughout the state of Wisconsin, other states, drinking water mainly, but also surface water. For example, here in Madison, we have a creek right near the airport. The airports are a prime culprit of PFAS contamination in our world because of firefighting foam at airports has been indiscriminately used and sprayed around on the ground. And it gets into the water system and eventually into the fish and into our bodies for many years. So Dane County Airport here has a creek that is built on a wetland, as many airports are built on wetlands or recovered wetlands. So good combination to destroy the environment. Ideal place if you want to destroy the environment. Try just spraying high volumes of forever chemicals in a water area and see what happens. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So and just so you know, PFAS stands for perfluorinated alkyl. It's a whole family of thousands of chemicals, but PF, fluorine-based chemicals, and it's a wonderful chemical for industry. It works so well. That's why it's become a staple of industry over the past 50 years. But the issue is in products such as Teflon, and many other industrial products, because it works well for what it does, but it's just pervasive in the environment, gets into the bodies of fish and people, and it's in the rain, it's in snow mountaintops. So it's a kind of an environmental nightmare. So people don't want to hear about nightmares these days. They don't want to hear about one other thing to worry about. So that's kind of why we can talk about. I'm happy to represent NBOT, which actually does destroy something. It just shows how human ingenuity and stick-to-itiveness and good old-fashioned American ingenuity actually can work. So it's kind of miraculous in a way. So my point here is we're presenting the science of NBOT to people who are either engineers, PhDs, or there might be bureaucrats. They might be city administrators. They could be, our core market is people who operate water facilities. So, and they could be highly educated or just basically valve switchers. But they have to feel confident that this works, and something new like this, we have to share with them. So, should I go on to the next slide there, Steve?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's see.
And let's see here. Okay, so this, I'll try not to get too caught up in rambling here. I can ramble like the best. I am a rambling man, so I'll try to keep it to the point here. But and that's really the goal here is to give it people straight and not. And this is the problem with science is they scientists think that everyone knows where they're coming from. To them, it's very obvious, these concepts. But we have to assume people have not even heard of PFAS, first of all. But so we talk about these different sections, these different concepts and sections. And here's an introduction showing the actual hardware, a small scale version of it. So try to have just enough words in a book like this to let people know that it is, yes, it's a book and not a PowerPoint presentation. Although there are many pictures, you still have to read something. You still have to think a little bit. And that's probably part of the issue these days is capturing people's attention. And if you show them a book, they have to read it as, people just really expect something. It has to be to the point, and it has to have validity. It has to have scientific relevance. So any scientist who would look at that, it has to be credible to them. So anyway, this is what I've been on a learning mode with the NBOT crew, NBOT Labs, and it was developed by NOAA 6 years ago, a government scientist, and I'll get more into that, the team. But let me just dive into how it works. So it comes down to destroying these forever chemical bonds in a way that's scalable. It doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't take millions of dollars and years to develop filtration facilities, which is now the norm. Takes 3 to 5 years to develop a $20 million filtration facility just for one city, like in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. They just put one online. It's called GAC, granular activated carbon, and it does work. It filters it out, but it does not destroy the PFAS. So what do you do with the filter media? Well, that's another question. So, but to destroy it is a really great opportunity. And so it comes down to oxidizing, oxidizing. And this gets into chemistry. What is oxidizing? Well, it comes down to oxygen being primary oxidizing agent in the most significant abundant element on Earth, and the power of that to ramp it up. So you have chemicals like hydrogen peroxide, which is an oxidizer. Chlorine is an oxidizer. Ozone, a very powerful oxidizer. So you see chlorine there is an oxidizing potential of 1.36. Ozone. What is ozone? Well, that's 3 oxygen atoms combine, O3. Carbon dioxide is carbon with 2 oxygen atoms. Oxygen is one. Ozone is 3. So ozone exists in the environment, but mainly in the upper atmosphere, up in the stratosphere, where it is stable. Down here on Earth, it is not stable. It dissolves pretty quick, and it's very useful, but it doesn't last. As soon as you generate ozone in some fashion, it dissipates. So let me get into, and so this is the fundamental of NBOT, and it won't be a long lecture like this, but just to go into the chemistry of it gives me a chance to hear myself talk about this to an audience. Hopefully it makes sense. So even more powerful than ozone are hydroxyl radicals, which are produced, and I'll get into that in this NBOT process. So hydroxyl radicals are well known in chemistry, is very powerful, but we're talking, 100,000 times stronger than chlorine. And I don't know the math very well, but this is basically the way it works. So if you can get hydroxyl radicals in the water, it will impact, the chlorine and start to destroy literally everything, purify the water. We'll get into that as well. What else it destroys? It indiscriminately destroys contaminants faster and more cost effectively. So anyway, there's the ozone, here's hydroxyl radicals, and here's algae and phosphorus, and the contaminants that contribute to that have been the main focus of the government, NOAA, and many state governments, waterways, trying to resolve toxic algae in places like Lake Erie. Never mind PFAS. So it's already doing that, and they put a lot of money into the development, proving this with high-level research with universities like Ohio State University, University of Wisconsin Superior, et cetera. And this is where the money goes. You pay a lot of money to do these long-term, in-depth studies, and they've done their homework, so that's good. But it really works. They've cleared up lakes, and you can look on our website, and you can see some of the examples of the amazing work. And this is what's inspiring about it. It's like how this invention can actually clean up a 10-acre lake in 5 days, where it was choked with smelly, green algae, the whole lake. 5 days later, it's clear. Miraculous. So that's the inspiring thing about how things can work if you really need them, and sometimes they show up and to fix a big problem. So anyway, another thing, those who are interested in nanotechnology, here's another amazing thing: is how big are what are nano bubbles? Well, they do exist. There's a company called Moliar, and they do a good big business with nano bubbles, but it's not with ozone. It's with regular old air, and they use it for aeration of bodies of water for the fish and things like that. So it's a nano bubble generator, and this is a technology that exists. So how they produce it is beyond me, but I've heard it's like cavitation or something. Maybe that'll be part of the next book. But how big they are is mind-boggling. And the only way to understand it, and this kind of gets into the whole nanotechnology world we're entering into, for better and hopefully not for worse. So to solve problems instead of creating them. But in this case, it solves them, and so the size of them and getting people to understand that we can actually engineer down to the level of viruses. So, and why is that good for? Let me see if that's covered in the next slide. Okay, well, the reason it's important that they're small is that the ozone does not dissipate in this case. So you can put ozone in water right now, any kind of ozone generator, and put it in, but it'll go, they'll rise to the surface and they'll dissipate within a few minutes. It's gone. The point is to keep it in the water for a long time. In this case, it'll stay. These nanobubbles will stay in that lake for several days. So in this small scale little generator, not much bigger than this one, you put that and you run it through the water through. You don't have to run all the water of the lake through it. You just have to generate the bubbles into the lake, so that the bubbles, as a gas will do, they'll fill that environment in a few days and immediately start to destroy contaminants within seconds. So that dissipates throughout the lake and it starts doing its work. And it's amazing. So, and then the question is, and what does it get rid of? You got three types of contaminants: physical, biological, chemical. It doesn't destroy silt or sediment, but it does destroy bacteria and algae, and also chemicals, pharmaceuticals, phosphorus, which feeds the algae, and PFAS, which it weakens. And I'll get into, you need to add something else to destroy the PFAS. But anyway, the point is what we're all hoping for, what we all need, and we all deserve, supposedly, is clean water. And so this is, huge value of this, And then it's like, okay, and then we always get pushback from environment, and justifiably so. Does it destroy all the animals? What is the long-term effect? What if we do this and everything's fine, but 5 years from now, turns out it's, destroying all the animals. It's like, well, it's not the case, and what's happened, all we're doing is uh, purifying the water and allowing, and a lot of these lakes are already so damaged. It's almost like cancer, where you have you're adding radiation to it to kill it, but it gives the healthy tissue a chance to recover around it and kind of heal. So it's kind of an analogy to what's going on in a lake with to the microbiome. Yes, it does destroy the planktons, the zooplankton, but you can monitor it. You can do it in a contained environment and put the water back in. But ultimately, the natural microbiome will quickly rebound because it's already under stress from lack of oxygen. And a lot of these lakes and waterways are almost already dead, you know. And so all we're doing is kind of just, giving it a chance to recover, to breathe, so to speak. So there's a lot of research on that that we have available in other places, maybe in the book, I can't remember. But so water bodies and NBOT, ponds, lakes, reservoirs, streams, rivers, wastewater, groundwater, drinking industrial systems. So we have this it's all documented, and it seems pretty amazing, but it comes down to the value of this technology is just it's inspiring, and that's something that we're trying to, without being preachy. It's like, as part of our messaging here with Carbon Intel, we also do communications. It's like, we're not trying to preach to people that, we're trying to counter the doom and gloom, that's around these days, and justifiably so. There's a lot to worry about, but without being preachy or whatever, we're just saying, check out the science. This is amazing. This is miraculous, and it's just, there's no AI about it. There's no billion-dollar conspiracy. It's just ordinary people and technology and good old-fashioned investment. So the implications are pretty big. So this gets into another thing we're focused here on in Madison. If you know Madison, we got these major lakes, major waterways, and the whole economy and the whole identity of the city here is in the lakes, Monona and Mendota especially. But there's a whole chain of lakes, and they do have PFAS in them, like I said, from the airport, but also phosphorus and algae is much older and very intractable problem. Intractable because they've been spending so much money over so many years, decades, trying to resolve the phosphorus problem, which comes from the cows, this is the dairy state, but they might as well just call it the manure state. Farmers putting too much manure on the fields, and that's too much phosphorus that gets into the waterway, feeds the algae. So it's just a never-ending battle getting the farmers to adopt, and many of them do, but it's not enough. And not enough of them, there's just too much manure, and what are you going to do with it? So anyway, so you can see here we've got some proposals here for some of the water districts around the county to do just this. It's like, to suck the water in from the phosphorus from some of these streams that feed into Lake Mendota up north of the city, into an NBOT thing, into a treatment pond, and back out. So the cost of this might be, if it's $500,000, I'd be surprised. It might be say it's $500,000. That's extremely low considering the effect. And right here you'll see and anyone who wants to see the book, let me know. This is free. I'll just send it to you. You can link to the other NBOT labs. The parent company we represent is some of the other projects. So on to PFAS now. It's like, so the inventor, Peter Muller, working on PFAS, trying to figure out, it does weaken it, but it does not destroy it. So with that, they add UV light to it. So that's the magic thing. And so over, the ozone nanomolecules get it weakened, and then the UV light over time, a few seconds. So you're passing this drinking water through the system here. And so the nanobubbles implode. That creates a big burst of oxidation energy, and there's boom, it goes from you see F here, that's the fluorine, that's the PFAS molecule, and then it breaks it and produces some other type of compound, which is not a PFAS, and they got that, and the evidence of that is in the spike within seconds after the goes from very high levels. I mean, a proper PFAS level in the environment and in your body is 0. Okay, but what you find is in a lot of drinking, well, it's pretty low. We're down to 4 parts per trillion. Okay, pretty small. But PFAS is so bad, you want 0. But waterways are, and this is where the government and the politics get involved. We're trying to get the PFAS levels. It's like, what are acceptable limits? Well, it's really 4, it's really 20. It's like, well, 20, no, way too high. But it's this debate between politicians to protect corporate interests who caused all the problem and how they can get off the hook. So that's really kind of but we're kind of below all that, because it's like, that doesn't affect us, because the point is the money's out there to fix it. This stuff really works. The cost to do it is so low. It's like we could, compared to these filtration systems, which are just inefficient. So that's how that works, destroying PFAS. Then, okay, and this is an example of the lake here on the left, Lake Sylvan in Ohio in 2022. You can see how green it was. This is 5 days later, okay? And so it's all documented, completely documented. High-level scientists and bureaucrats, DNR, EPA, all been involved. So if you're cynical about the government, well, it's amazing that sometimes it actually does work, and especially when you have an innovation like this. Out of all the money they waste, once in a while, something actually works. And it's like, okay, how's that make money for me and you? Well, that's kind of where we're at. It's like private capitalism. We're capitalists, but we're not greedy. We just want to make a living. We just want to not worry about PFAS, not just kind of have everyone's, breathe a sigh of relief. And some of these communities in Wisconsin, they're under severe threat. Imagine if you're private well, all of a sudden you're told that, you got 10, 20 parts per trillion. Don't drink the well water of your, little back to the land project here. It's like, what am I going to do about water? Well, that's your problem. And the lawyers are going to come in and they're going to sue the company, and you're going to be in a class action lawsuit. So that's the whole shit show that's going on now across the country. So here's the cost effect of, in terms of money for 1 year, $1 million at the most. They're doing, NBOT Labs is doing a pilot project in Florence, Alabama right now, 1.5 million gallons per day of drinking water that is having to be shipped off site every day, 1.5 million gallons, because it's PFAS contaminated. So this is making that water usable. And so that's very impressive. They're working with engineers of the South on that. It's all documented. We have a letter of endorsement for that. So it's exciting. And that's what we like to promote, is something exciting and inspiring. And people are inspired about money, making money, saving money, and jobs and all that stuff. So, and then the scalability, for different aspects of it. For drinking water, you have to recirculate. So it's like that 1.5 million gallons a day. Well, here's the flow rate coming through, and out on the other end, at the end of the day, you got 1.5 million gallons one day. Okay, during that day, they're recirculating it through a fairly modestly sized container. I can't remember, like 300 gallons or something. So they have to recirculate as many times that same water through the NBOT system, like once, twice, 5 times, I don't know, however long. And then the UV light. So that's they've been working on, but it's doing well. So that's pretty impressive for the whole industry. Wastewater. They've done amazing, like hog waste, agricultural waste, and manure ponds is a huge deal. Same situation. You have to recirculate it through, and but otherwise it's just sitting there, leaching into the soil or into the nearby creek and into the lakes. So all that manure, and then the difference between farm animal waste and municipality sewage waste, but they're both in the biosolids category. They're both shit, okay? And this is our world, is how to manage shit for better and, for economic value, and also to prevent destroying the environment. And then there's groundwater. If you have, and this, most municipalities, or many at least around here, are dependent on groundwater. There's no lack of water in Wisconsin. We're sitting on a massive aquifer called the Oglala Aquifer, unlike other parts of the country that are dry. We're not dry at all here. It's just a matter of maintaining the quality of what we got. And the good news in Wisconsin is that the vast majority of it is pretty clean. And that's what's heartbreaking, is the risks that exist from greed, carelessness, political bureaucracy mishaps, overlooks, undersight. It contributes to that. So it's just an ongoing battle, and this is our world today. When we talk about the water, we're not just talking about the groundwater, the drinking water. We're talking about our bodies, because there's really no difference. So then we have small lakes and streams, and that's kind of where we're dealing with surface water with this creek by the airport to get a pilot project going there. The creek at the airport is just south of the airport. The PFAS levels are 5,000 parts per trillion, which is 5,000 times higher than it should be. So it really, and about a mile downstream from there, it empties into Lake Monona, where everybody fishes and people water ski, and then the city, the Chamber of Commerce doesn't like to talk about it. They don't like to promote it because it's bad publicity. But that's kind of where we fit. So that's one of our business opportunities we've been working on for about 6 months. It's been quite the story. I could write a book. I'm telling you, you dig down into, and you come to the market with a product like this, you think they're going to buy it up like that. It's like, nope. But that's where we're at. It's interesting. So contamination in soil, and back to what I was saying about hemp and these other remediation needs. It's like, well, if you get rid of it in the water, where's it coming from? Well, it's on the soil. It's on the surface. So there's a long-term, low-cost bioremediation methods we've been representing for several years. Hemp being one of them, but not the only one. So this is back into the NBOT Labs team, who I've gotten to know as friends and colleagues, and to people. And what I also, in business also, I like to make sure I always like to work with people who I respect, admire, who share values and aren't assholes, because that's the other big problem with capitalism. And many businesses, there's always an asshole or someone who's, not who they say they are, but I'm happy to say that's not the case. So that's how we're representing the inventor, the investor, and the COO, good people, and their network, and how we got a contract to represent them. So, and then there's our team, myself and my partner Chris Kearns. We've been in the hemp industry for 6 years, but now now we're in biomass / that's what Carbon Intel is, and you can see on our website. Strategic development firm to introduce new technology in Wisconsin and elsewhere. We combine engineering, economics, public communications to benefit the economy and environment. So looking ahead, here's our optimistic type thing, and that's about it. But thank you for allowing me to show that. I hope it was inspiring, and will encourage some questions either tonight or tomorrow or down the road.
Okay, where can you get your PDF?
Well, you have to email me for that, but I don't have it on the website yet. We probably will have it this week. But the website is www.carbonintel.net, and you can also see a presentation with the NBOT Labs team about the science of it.
Okay, and yeah, and your email is right there underneath your name there on the screen.
Correct.
There.
Yep.
Even at carbonintel.net. Yeah, so there's no unit that's commercially available right now, right?
What's that?
Of your NBOT units.
Oh yeah, they're available. Yep, they're ready to ship.
For what size of application? Like
well, we have like up the largest size I think is 100 by horsepower. The largest one is, I can show you the brochure if you'd like.
You know,
Do you want to see that?
sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking at it. Have you looked into any of the health aspects of it? You know,
Of
uh,
of NBOT?
yeah, the inbox. You know, be nice if you had a household size version.
Well,
I
it's
know.
too expensive. It's too expensive for household, but we do have another partner who's doing household projects. He's a Ugandan man, a master of water science here in Wisconsin, and he's doing household um, household NBOT remediation filtration systems paid for by utilities who are under court order or obligation to do it for private wells. So that's another, and I think that's a filtration system, not a destruction. So this here you see, this is what Madison looks like for those of you who've never been here. It's beautiful. This is the Capitol right there. You see that bumped up, and where we're talking right now, I'm right here. So this is Lake Monona, and over only about 100 yards to your right is where the stream Starkweather Creek feeds into the lake. So right here we have the technology. So right now there's 35 gallon per minute units that cost $64,000. They're also available for rent. And that's just the cost of the unit. I mean, it's almost plug and play, but we really have to include engineering, permitting, and the whole project. The several week pilot project process for these utilities, these water districts, to basically prove what's been proven many times to their satisfaction. Because especially something like this new. But as we move forward, it'll go faster. So, but and it comes on a trailer as well. It hasn't really been delivered on a trailer yet, but it can be delivered on a trailer within 2 months if someone wants to order one. So these other components that are added in, other accessories and things like that. So, but yeah, that's basically what it would look like to clean up a stream right there. Like one of those railroad, steel or aluminum railroad, insulated railroad shelters would house it, and have to have AC and environmental controls. So it's very simple. Unlike a lot of these major filtration or processing units where you have to build, spend really a lot of money to fix it.
Here's a question: do you have plans to tackle chemtrails in the air next?
Yeah, I've heard of chemtrails. What is that all about?
People believe that planes are dumping chemicals in the air for different reasons, and
Right.
and they do some though, like for like to cause rain. I'm
Yeah,
sure you've heard of that.
yeah.
That kind of stuff, and I'm sure
What
there's.
is the science of chemtrails? What are the what are the what is what are the chemicals they're using?
I don't know of any except for the silver iodide that they use for like
Uh,
the seed
is that the
crop.
concern?
Rain
That silver iodide is a
would be one, but I'm sure like and you start getting into conspiracy theories. There's all kinds of stuff that's supposed to be in them.
yeah.
I really haven't paid that much attention to them.
Well, anyone could take PFAS as it's like, well, has anyone ever seen a PFAS molecule? Yeah, you can probably get an electron microscope and look at it. But if you look at the news, it's a word. It's a concept. No one ever, even though it's in our bodies and everywhere all around, it's one of these invisible threats. It's like, okay, do you believe in PFAS? It's like, so uh,
Okay.
here's another question.
Yeah, what kind of pumps are you using? I happen to know a guy who's manufacturing a Tesla fluid pump that can operate between 120 gallons per minute to upwards of 400 or more.
Well, I'm very much a fan of pumps. I don't know the Tesla fluid pump, and I don't know exactly what kind of pump they're using, but I'd like to know more. Is Tesla fluid pump made by the Tesla company,
Uh,
or is that a technology of
it's a
Tesla?
technology that Tesla developed, and basically they're
Oh,
braidless turbines, and with them you can pump immense amounts of liquid, and some of the things that you see is uh, you have like a non-laminar flow or laminar flow, so like you're not ripping your molecules apart when you're dealing with like uh, biochemicals or like you know biological strands, like when you're making medicine and that, they use them for
yeah.
that. If you use them to pump from like the Frito-Lays for chips, and that
Okay. Well,
from
here
one
it
to
says
the other.
your guest says it's a technology that's being remade. A process can process fluid that has particulate matter in it without wear on the blade. So this is something I would like to know about. And I think that NBOT moving forward and in water, that's kind of what we like to do is find stuff that's really cool and actually works, and to be ahead of everyone when the time is right to take advantage of it. Someone else, Tim 396, was also um, asking about PCBs, which is a good question because PCBs used to be and probably still is a major contaminant. It's like, what do you hear about that anymore? It's like, did we fix that? Is that not a problem? Well, probably not. It's one of these other very pervasive chemicals. I don't know the answer if it fixes them.
It's still
But
a problem.
say what?
It's still a problem. PCBs are still a problem, except they don't use them like they used to, like to fill up. What do you call it?
Transformers.
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 Yeah, they
Yeah.
use oils now. But the
Yeah.
problem they have is they took these PCBs like around St. Louis and they use it for road oil. You know,
Yeah. Another one of these
Or-
brilliant. Yeah. So why we're it's a all we can say it's a miracle we're not all dead yet. But we can laugh. But if you're young and you're worried about the future and you want to have a family, you might really worry. And people are worried. And it's like, and if you're old, you say, "Ah, I'm going to die soon anyway." That's you can't have that attitude either. But it is kind of a relief in a way, to be older. But I have a friend who's 85. He's my associate. He's doing very well. People in their 90s. So it's like you can never. So I'm diverging here a little bit about these threats, environmental threats. But the real thing, the biggest threat, just to be philosophical a little bit, the biggest threat we have is not collaborating. So that's one of our key as a company to promote is collaboration.
okay,
Uh,
okay,
Contact email is there on the screen there, bevan@carbonintel.net.
yeah. And if you get a chance, go back through some of our shows. Actually, just go to my directory for speakers. Look up Jeff Hayes, and he's probably the leading expert on these Tesla pumps and that. Um, it's amazing. I've seen them used in all different applications, including NASCAR racing, where they took them and used it instead of pumping water, they're pumping air, and by doing that, they get all this a few horsepower extra out of it without having to throw the energy in there because of the way it's using. And the reason it doesn't wear the blades is because there are no blades. Okay, they're like
Ah,
just think of a bunch of washers in a row there, the spacing between them, and as it turns, it just pulls the material along with it. Okay,
yeah. Well, I'm very interested in pumps because for 10 years I was a leading expert on aquaponics. Do you know of aquaponics?
I've heard of it.
Well, starting in 2010, it was a big deal all of a sudden, and I got in early again, and I did a lot. What you're seeing now with this, I did a lot of books. Wrote 4 books, and I did a lot of engineering and did some projects, demonstration projects, trying to make money on something that really worked. It was amazing using fish water from fish tanks to and converted in gravel based or other systems an aquaponics system to convert that waste very quickly in a matter of seconds or minutes into high value nutrients for plants. So yeah, I worked on that for many years. I still would like to get back into it, but it kind of died out because and there was some high profile projects, the point is scalability. And it's not that scalable because it's like you got to have a greenhouse, you got to have huge water containment systems, they got to have all kinds of pumps, you got to have electricity to power the pumps, you got to have, if it's going to be done in winter for the plants, so it's a hybrid system combining contained greenhouse type environment with fish aquaculture. So, and I haven't talked about it in so long, it's kind of have to remember what it is, but it's amazing. It really does work. But the point is scalability, and I did figure out how to finally make it work. But I'm not going to tell anyone until I get paid to do it. So, but once I get rich, then I'll do my own thing and I'll just give it away because it's one of these things. If you can figure out how to scale it, doesn't cost money. Then you're it's not about making money all the time.
Yeah, well,
And yep.
Well, the other thing on these Tesla pumps is that they're reversible, so they can also serve as like they can be used as turbines, okay, and, and drive things, So,
Well, I want to find out more about them. Can you
yeah,
buy them now?
yeah, this stuff, a lot of stuff you have to make them, but there was a company called Disflow that made them, and they were out of San Diego, outside of Kansas, El Cajon.
Or
Yeah,
does it drive by an electric motor?
oh, you can drive it by anything,
No, but what drives the pump?
anything. I mean, you can hook them up to mechanical, okay, like use a drive shaft off a tractor or anything,
Okay, so but is there an impeller or diaphragm involved?
No,
Oh,
it's disc, okay, a bunch of disc, and as the disc spin,
okay.
it pulls the material along with it and throws it out, okay.
Okay.
And
So
so
there's a spinning thing.
yeah, it's a spinner,
Okay, but what drives the spinner?
whatever you want. I mean, you can have electric motors,
Okay.
for
Yeah, that's
instance.
the deal. And that's why the ram pump, have you ever heard of that?
I'm trying to think. I've heard of ram
It,
pumps,
it's
but they're
it's
different.
a
They're different because they use a
it's
ram.
well, it uses water pressure, so it's like it's like kind of like a siphon in concept, but it pumps water like in spurts, and it don't know how. So you can look it up, but that was one of my fascinations is how to get rid of electricity. To do pumping water, and this has been humanity's greatest technology mission since ancient times is moving water, lifting water. It still is.
If you want, I could put up I'll put the
Ram pumps, yeah.
I'll put the link up, and then Savage Junior here will get up here, and he can demonstrate this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the demonstration. So let me just post this. And for there it is. There's the link.
Yeah,
And
but it's people who are into technology like this. That's what I'm fascinated by is like stuff that's simple, overlooked, that could actually work and fit a big challenge.
okay, can you see? Are you there, Savage?
Yes, sir. Even got the name.
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about.
Okay.
So in a normal pump you're used to, it's a 90-degree end to the impeller that flips it around and spits it out the front. The way a Tesla pump works is it functionally has two inlets. And so the way he has designed his, which is similar to mine here, is it has one inlet that diverts into the two inlets on either side. And it has these disc rotors that are all lined up in a row. I don't know if you can see them in there. I might have to get a light, but yeah, there you go. You can kind of see. Hold on a second. There you go. So you can see all the discs lined up in a row in there, I think. And so spin it. It just pulls in the air or the fluid into the inlet, and it diverts to either side of the disc stack, pulls it to the center, and then flings it out forward like that. And the discs look more or less like this.
So how's its efficiency?
Well, very good. I mean, I'm kind of limited because I'm currently working with fluid dynamics professors at a local university, and let's just say, so you know how the normal efficiency curves work on most impellers, where it goes up at to a certain RPM, and then after that it starts going down.
Mm-hmm.
This is a straight line. So the faster you spin it, the more efficient it becomes. And there might be certain nodes at different speeds where it becomes extremely, extremely efficient. But from what we do know right now is that it has a very linear efficiency curve instead of that standard one that you'll see with most impellers. But I've personally seen his, and the one he had one previously designed that had one inlet on the side, not the dual inlet one, and he had I want to say a 70-gallon tote, like from Walmart, that he filled up with water, and he had a 3,500 RPM electric motor attached to the axle, and he turned on, and the thing shot across from his parking lot across a double lane road and hit the other side of the road fairly easily. And that was at 120 gallons a minute. And his new designs that I've seen are vastly improved upon that. And I can almost confidently say it'll be well over 400 gallons per minute.
Well, is it commercially produced?
He is at the very tail end of designing a final product right now.
Okay. Well, when it's ready to buy, this is like a lot of these technologies. It's like, I want it. Where do I get it? Well, it's not ready yet.
Sure.
And it's like, that's how it's been with NBOT. And many of these technologies, and I work with these, I work with Georgia Tech a lot, other universities, and it's like you hear about something and you call the professor up, does it work? Yes, it does. It's like, where can I buy one? Well, it's just in the lab. Oh, and this is the problem today, is
Right.
all of these so many things work. It comes down to, and that's why NBOT it didn't come from university, but it did come from a government lab where, it wasn't just somebody tinkering around with a research grant. They had to solve a huge problem.
No, yeah, he's a private entity. He's already making the Tesla turbine system, like the turbine-based system, not the pump-based system that is meant to run off of cold steam. So, water in a vacuum, so it lowers the boiling point, and then you have a cycle where you're able to run it through the turbine and then cool it with a radiator and then put the condensed water back into the system. Very efficient on that side, but he wanted to start making pumps because they were far easier to produce because you don't have to design them to such high tolerances as you do with the turbines that run steam.
So is this a friend of yours? He has
yes.
a patent? He's the patent holder?
So the patent is from Tesla from over like 100 years ago. So that's already been expired. So his stuff, they have certain aspects of the design patented, certain processes of manufacturing. They're seeking the patents for, but right now they're working on just producing a final product for the pumps because they're able to get that out much faster than the actual turbine system, because that's a really complicated system.
Are they talking to any manufacturers at all?
Not yet, but they're very interested, and they want to talk use cases. I already gave him your contact information, so hopefully he will reach out. But
it could be a potential to hook up with a use case, as you say, and see if that might it comes down to, the engineering, the numbers, availability, and who's going to make it. Because ultimately, you don't want to spend time trying something out, but if there's no someone has to make it, and
Yeah,
also you have to get orders from a company like I don't know, let's name any major pump distributor. They would be the ones who would, buy into it. Not a use case thing, but a use case it really comes down to the patents.
Sure.
And if a big company wants something, they'll just steal it.
Okay, well, getting back to NBOT, we have a question here.
Yeah. I'll jump out and let you get back to
byproduct. To answer your question, no. The only byproduct is fluorine gas, which is in small, even on a lake, a large body of water, it's not harmful. But there's no byproduct. There's no chemicals involved or anything. So it's really all it is exploding those bonds.
Okay. So if you want to look up more on the Tesla turbine, Jeff Hayes has a lot of videos on my channel, on the YouTube channel. So you can just go in there and look them up, and I'll have a lot of presents. And Jeremy for water, he would have one on. He's Jeremy. Anyway, that's one of the reasons we have our conferences, is so people can bring their stuff and actually show and demonstrate it at the conference, and you get a lot of interplay, as you see it, like right here,
I'm a big fan of inventors and inventors not getting ripped off, as I have gotten ripped off. It's not, and when you see it, when you actually experience it, it's bad. It's like, but that's how it works. That's why people.
He's the Tesla pump. He's been at my conferences.
The Werda.
Yeah. And he's out of Idaho or Washington. So, but we're approaching our hour here. So is there anything that you really want to get across, Bevan?
Not really. I'm just glad to, I like to talk shop whenever possible. My wife doesn't like to.
Well, later on,
and also to explore. Tesla is an amazing person, and still inspiring. I don't really know that much about him. I should read a book about him.
Well, I've been working with the Tesla stuff since 1984, and
I do know that he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was. Him and Edison were his system was lined up to become the standard, and Edison came in and did an end run around and talk about see, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, Edison was DC, and then
right.
Tesla comes in and does the AC. But when once Tesla became popularized, through Westinghouse,
right
there, and Tesla became the standard for long distance transmission of power and everything. And the first practical use of that was the Ames power plant in Telluride, Colorado. And one of the things about the Westinghouse, in order to compete with the Westinghouse, Edison had to get his people there, and they formed General Electric, and they brought Steinmetz in. And what people don't know is that Steinmetz was arrested for possession of the Tesla patents when they were still confidential and everything. And he was arrested for that. A lot of people don't know about it, but Steinmetz, once he saw what Tesla was doing with AC, he goes, this alternating current, there must be something to it. I need to get more on it. And he started working up the equations of that. And a lot of the equations we used to work in the power industry for alternating current was developed by Steinmetz, I guess. So, yeah. So,
yeah, so I'm going to have to check more into Tesla. I mean, sounds like a modern day Leonardo da Vinci.
He was virtually the entire 20th century could be he touched in one way or the other. You know, he developed.
Is there a movie? Is there a movie about him?
Yeah, there's a lot of movies about him. I used to sell them. I used to have a museum in Colorado Springs. The Nikola Tesla Museum of Science and Industry, and we had a lot of stuff there.
Okay.
But I'd like to get a museum going again. What I need, though, what I really need is a warehouse, you know, because people want to give me stuff all the time. I have no place to put it, you know. And I could become like, you know, if you watch the movie Indiana Jones, at the end of it, they have the old guy pushing the ark through there.
Right.
Yeah. Warehouse of mysteries, of secrets.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that'd be me. That would be me. So
Well, thanks for having me, Steve.
yeah, thank you for coming. And we're here every Sunday at 6. And thank everyone here for coming and being part of the show. And
check out carbonintel.net.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah, and I think you're on my email list now, so you'll be getting a notice of who's speaking every Sunday. So
okay.
So it gives a heads up. And I think man, I can't remember who's next week, but it's going to be on Tesla coils next week. So I encourage everyone to come and listen to it.
Well, thanks, everyone. I appreciate the comments and the feedback. And it's been fun. Main thing is to have fun.
And we'll be getting all next week there, and you'll have a great night. And thank you for being part of it. And
goodbye.
Bye. And